Welcome back. It's the NBA Hoops Hour on DAR Sports and Media. I am True, of course. I am here. Got my guys with me, and we got my guy with us today. Critically acclaimed writer for DAR Sports and Media on Medium site. Got my guy Tev in the building. We got Tay. We got Lee, 10-day contract, Harvey. He is looking for his next 10-day contract right now in your local YMCA's and gyms right now. He's looking for his next contract. Y'all already know how it goes here on the Hoops Hour, though. A lot of things happened in this first week. First week NBA is over. We are on to week 2. Tay, how you feeling about it, bro? How you feeling about week 1 and into this next week?
Week 1 has came with a lot of surprises. You know, certain specific players coming out. Some players have been worse, compared to last year. Some have been a lot better. So I was gonna ask y'all, who was your breakout player so far this season? Like, who has stood out to you so far? Who is surprising you? It could be good or bad. Like someone could be stinking up the place, or someone could be open, not missing. So I'll start with a 10-day contract, Mr. Lee Harvey. What player has stood out to you so far this season?
Who stood out to me? Well, I'm kind of disappointed in Jamal Murray.
You really?
Yeah, because like last year it didn't end so well in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He in the Olympics he struggled a lot with Team Canada, and so far this season he hasn't like gotten over that a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on, if he's like playing with an early injury or something, but right now he hasn't had that big breakout game yet to show everybody, yeah, all that's in the past. I'm ready to move on to this season. So that's what stood out to me so far.
Okay, so bending off your Jamal Murray take, do you think that's why the Nuggets have been struggling? Because I definitely want to get into that, but since you were talking about Jamal Murray, you think that's why the Nuggets are struggling right now? It looks like they're down 10 to the Raptors right now. We'll put them at 0-3.
Oh wow, they're down 10 to Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't put all of it on Murray. Like I said in our preview, getting Russell Westbrook makes or breaks your team. And in these first 2 games, he's only made 1 shot. And yeah, I give some of that blame to Westbrook as well, because you're not helping your team if you're not making any shots on the floor, whether you're playing good or bad defense.
Okay. All right. So I want to pass to you, Tev. Who do you have as a surprising player so far?
I got 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the bad first. Jonathan Kuminga.
Yes,
he's
that's a good one.
Yeah, considering everything that happened over the summer and the rumor that he turned down $30 million in hopes of getting a new contract. Yeah, he hasn't been living up to whatever he thought he was supposed to get. It's only 3 games in, so I'm gonna give him some slack, but he has not been focused. And Steph is out now, so he got to lock in.
Yeah,
could be that time.
For the good, Trae Young, even though that might be cliche, but outside of his first game, he's been killing it. The game against the Hornets where he had 38 and closed the game against them, that was crazy. So that's my standout. Like that's my on the good side.
Nah, I'm gonna agree with you on the Kuminga thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Kuminga came in with the Demolition Man hair and everything, and I already knew when he came in with the hair change. I was like, this is a wrap. I didn't have a good feeling about the season I wanted him to do good, but it was like you feeling yourself a little bit. Meanwhile, Moses Moody came in and did his thing and got his contract extended and took what I think is a reasonable deal. I'm actually going to stick with the Warriors on the flip side of things. While Kuminga has been asked, I think Andrew Wiggins so far has completely turned it around, and he looks like the Andrew Wiggins pretty much of 2022. I know the Warriors just took a loss, which, of course, if you are listening to this right now, you want to go to our Medium site and check out Tev's article on the Warriors and what they're going to do in Steph Curry's absence, which we'll probably get to that a little bit later. But I think Andrew Wiggins is definitely stood out to me in terms of being that aggressive scorer. And when the shots aren't falling, he's grabbing rebounds. He's defending. If Kuminga can turn it around with Wiggins on the team, I actually think the Warriors would probably be okay. Those two together, those are two athletic wings who can do a number of things, and I would like to see them both turn around. But Kuminga has definitely been the one. I was going to initially say Tyrese Halliburton is my choice for disappointing, but he got like a triple-double right now. So and for that, I can't even really say too much about him because he got a triple-double right now. But those first couple games, he was not looking good. Not looking good at all. He blamed it on taking naps. So I don't know what that's about. But I hate excuses from players when it's like you just playing trash. You just had a rough couple games, rough start to the season. He looks like he's going to round into shape right now. And to Lee's point about Jamal Murray, Lee, I know you got a lot of love for the Lakers. If y'all ever want to take back, Lakers ever want to take back Russell Westbrook, I'll fully endorse and support that. You know what I'm saying? It's like JJ Redick's there. JJ Redick, I'm good. Me and Tate here, we here with it. Like that's exactly what the Lakers need. They need that ball handler that can pass the ball. And I mean, who don't want somebody who could, go downhill? Like you need somebody like Russell Westbrook on the team. So JJ Redick, find it in your heart somewhere to talk to Rob Pelinka in the front office and bring Russell Westbrook. I'm gonna start a petition after this episode to bring Russell Westbrook back to the Lakers, who are currently 3-0. Well, by the time this comes out, if they could be 4-0 or 3-1, I hope 3-1, but we're gonna see. But yeah, I agree with you on Russell Westbrook being. I hate it too because I used to be a Russ fan, but it has not been pretty. It has not been pretty. I mean, after OKC, after Washington, I think was it the Wizards was like the last good season he had. Really?
Houston.
Yeah. Was Houston after or before?
No,
Houston
was after Houston.
Wizards was the last. Yeah, Wizards was the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. I mean, he averaged a triple-double like 4 out of 5 seasons, and it was like it sounds great on paper, but when you look at everything else, I guess, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man, but I am concerned about the Nuggets. I'm real concerned about them right now because they're healthy.
Yeah.
They are playing teams they should be beating. And I don't know, maybe I can't say championship hangover because that's not it. I mean, that's not a championship hangover because you didn't win last year, but it's like maybe you just lightning in a bottle, right? Maybe they had lightning in a bottle, and maybe that one year just kind of went their way. I mean, other teams not healthy. They had everything right, but they lost key players. So, I mean, did KCP mean that much? You know what I mean? KCP meant that much? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. He's like a high-end role player. It's hard to find great to elite perimeter defense and someone who can space the floor. Like usually you get one or the other. You get a great defender that can kind of shoot. It's kind of hard to find a KCP. I do think he was very important for the Nuggets, as we can see. But
Bruce Brown too.
What did you say?
Bruce Brown too.
Yeah. They lost Bruce Brown, and you can see it. They kind of needed, they needed a replacement for Bruce Brown. They didn't have it. Lost KCP, and we see, like they won the championship, and they didn't try to get better. They won the championship, got complacent, and then just moved on. Like, you see the Celtics, the Thunder, the Knicks, everyone's making moves, but I don't know. The Nuggets just didn't make a move. But speaking of the Lakers, everyone's favorite team. Not mine though. Are the Lakers back? Like the Lakers they look different. AD looks different. Do y'all think the Lakers are back? I'll start out with you, Lee.
Are they back? I won't say that yet, but if AD can keep playing like that for, I would say 76 games, because that's the amount of games he played last year. If he can do that over the course of that long of a season, you won't be seeing them in the play-in. Like, they'll actually be like a top 4, maybe top 3 seed in the West.
Okay. Tev, how you feel about the Lakers?
It's gonna hurt me to say this, but I don't think they're back, but I think they're headed toward being back. AD, like Lee said, has been dominant. If he can keep that up to even like half the season, yeah, they probably won't be seeing the play in at all. And that hurt me to say.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, I don't want them to win any games. I agree 100%.
I'm about to pour myself a drink.
Yeah, if they could lose the rest of these games for the season, I'd be completely content with it. But
yeah.
So I want to point out real quick what everybody's kind of alluding to. I've been saying this for a couple years now. The most important player on the Los Angeles Lakers is not LeBron James anymore. LeBron is great, don't get me wrong. One of the greatest to ever do it. You know, legend. Like, he has nothing left to really prove anymore. He really has anything to left to prove for the last, I don't know, 5, 6, however many years. But this team only goes as far as Anthony Davis takes them, because Anthony Davis is to me, he's been the best player on the team in terms of both ends of the field. In ends. It's like, you can't look at the Lakers defense and not think about AD. You can't look at the offense and the dominating without looking at AD. LeBron can do many great things. I'm not sold on the Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and a lot of those other players. I don't know. I don't think they'll be consistent the rest of the season. I don't think, I don't. Roy Hachimura, I despise that nigga. So that's a whole different. That's a whole different. Huh?
I thought that was one of your favorite players.
Boy, hell no. No. Now, my guy Dalton Connect, I like that kid. I'm not gonna lie, I really do like that kid. I think he is really solid. He's really solid. But I'm gonna say the Lakers are on the way to being back, but I am begging for something to mess their chemistry up. and I'm not gonna wish injuries on nobody though, because I know that is something that has plagued the Lakers a lot of years, but it is a real possibility. I will say that it is a real possibility. We can't call AD street clothes anymore like that, because he has been playing a lot more and been more available, and I would assume that's maybe got to do with some changes he made to his body, and I mean, he's next to the guy that spends like a whole bunch of money on his body to stay healthy too. So I hope hope he stays healthy. But I also hope at some point they just, Space Jam, you know what I'm saying? Take all their powers, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need that. I don't need the Lakers to be, look, other sports, you got the Dodgers winning, like, up on the World Series. You got the Liberty won the championship. LA and New York, I don't want to keep seeing, you know what I'm saying? And speaking of NY, Tay, I got a question to ask you about the Knicks. To transfer from the Lakers to the Knicks. How you feeling so far about the Knicks right now? How's everybody feeling about the Knicks so far? The new look Knicks. Mikal Bridges had some issues, and then all of a sudden corrected him out of nowhere and started shooting like he normally shoots out of nowhere. I don't know how he's looking tonight. Not watching the game exactly right now. But how you feeling about your Knicks? How you feeling about your Knicks right now?
I feel good. I'm liking the fit. I'm liking the Karl-Anthony Towns fit. Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the best 3-point shooting bigs of all time. It's going to take some time to click, though. Like, I don't think we've hit the potential yet. Like, it's still early. Knicks don't really have a bench right now. We're still trying to find that. Campaign's getting a lot of minutes, kind of concerning. But I like the starting five. Like the starting five, at its peak is beating anyone. Like I'm not scared of no one. I want to play the best teams. With that starting five, clicking. Like give us till like December. Like I think like we're one of the we'll go on a 10+ game win streak. You know how that happens a couple of times I think the Knicks once it starts clicking, it'll click and we'll see. Like the Knicks are gonna go on like a 10-game win streak eventually in the season. Just I think as of now it's still early. Like we'll drop some early games. Like right now losing to the Cavs could change, but we'll drop some games early. I think so. Just dealing with the new fit. Like we're not used to having a stretch at the five. It was always a center on the block, Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson. It's a little different. Then on top of that, we didn't have Mikal Bridges either. So everything's different. Trying to figure out who gets how many shots and whatnot. So I love the fit. I know we haven't hit the peak yet.
Okay, so how's everybody else feeling about the Knicks? I mean, that's they were one of the teams. I mean. And quick take. How did you feel about the opening night loss?
That was terrible.
Okay.
That was horrible.
Because it looked bad. It looked bad, man.
Yeah. Like I wasn't even upset, bro. The Celtics, they didn't miss. They played perfect. Didn't turn the ball over. Played great. Like I mean, come on, man. Nobody's beating that. Like they played the best basketball possible. They hit every shot. Jason Tatum. He doesn't even play like that. He played out of his mind. It was just too much going on in that game. So yeah, I wasn't even upset. I was like, hey, they were just better than us that night. So yeah, I wasn't mad though.
I just gotta say this. It was so bad that Tev had to write positive words about the Celtics.
Oh, wow.
And I know it hurt. When I read the article as I was getting ready to post it up, I felt so bad for my boy. I felt so bad for my dog. I was like, this is positive word after positive word after positive word on the Celtics. What is happening? What is happening right now? So the Knicks, but you know what? I'm not going to say nothing about the Knicks. I don't even want to ask everybody else about the Knicks. Because on this show, last season, when Doc Rivers became the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, we were basically like, here's their ceiling. They're going nowhere. Right now, as we speak, as I'm doing this, the Milwaukee Bucks are down double digits in the fourth quarter to the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
This will make them 1-3 when they lose this game. Is it time to panic? Because I believe the graphic I saw was that the Bucks, since hiring Doc Rivers, have been 18-21. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what I saw. So I'm gonna go back to you, Tay, just to start this off. Is it early? Too early to panic for the Bucks, or have we seen enough that get Doc Rivers' ass out of there, man?
I don't even think it's a Doc Rivers thing. They got Giannis, they got Dame, and two Supermax guys, great players. But I'm gonna bring the famous line back from last year. The Bucks are old. It's just plain and simple. Like you can't. They have no young talent. They got a lot of people get injured on that team. Like it's more than the coach. They're not going to win with Doc Rivers. They're not going to win with this roster. Like they have no young players. They have no scoring off the bench. I mean, they got Bobby Portis, but they just have no play initiator off the bench. So I would say they don't really have a bench. Like they have no defense at all. Brook Lopez is old. Like I don't know. They don't have anything that you look at and there's still hope other than Giannis. I don't know. And then on top of that, Giannis and Dame, maybe they're old. They need to. It's about that time. They won that championship a couple years ago, but it just hasn't looked good. They're not the same team. The Bucks have been good for about 7 years now, but we're about to go back to the Bucks being one of those poverty teams picking in the top 10. Says, yeah, they're old. It's time to wrap it up.
So Torian Prince, Bobby Portis Jr., Pat Connaughton, DeLon Wright, that ain't moving you. No. Yeah, I understand. Lee, how you feel about this, man? How you feel about the Bucks and the and Doc Rivers? How you feel about that?
Um, I I seen a clip on YouTube of so many missed defensive assignments with the Bucks there in their other game against Brooklyn, and that just can't happen. Where it was mostly Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder that on Sunday night. That was really it. And if a team that has championship aspirations can't lock in on two guys on the other team defensively, then they have a long way to go if they want to even think about winning the East and getting to the finals again, like they did in 2022 or 2021.
It is interesting, real quick, before I get to you, Tev. The Nuggets struggling to start this year. Bucks struggling to start this year. That's the 2021 and the 2023 champions. So, is this something where the Celtics have been a perennial playoff team in the finals and in the conference finals? So we kind of expect that. The Warriors, who won in 2022, they were, it's a dynasty. So it's like the two teams that had success. Like there's not a lot of and the Nuggets are pulling within like 6 right now as I'm looking at the scores. But like the last 4 champions, one of them is a dynasty. One of them has been a team that has been there back and forth, and getting close. Both the Bucks and the Nuggets both seem like they've lost something, and they've gained things and lost it. I don't know. Was Drew Holiday really the factor, that the X factor for the Bucks when they finally made their run? Chris Middleton's health, was that something that really played a role into it? Tev, how you feel about just Doc Rivers, the Bucks? Is it time to start looking at something different?
My opinion might come off a little biased because I've never been a Doc Rivers fan.
Mm.
Adrian Griffin had the Bucks at 30-13 last year, and some background noise more than likely got him fired. And they brought in Doc Rivers, and they, safe to say, were mediocre. So I do want to put most of the blame on Doc Rivers, but I also have to say that starting off this season, Damian Lillard and Giannis, the rumors may be true about them not connecting well, especially over the summer, not working out as much as they should have, getting that chemistry built, and that's probably adding some of the turmoil to what they're going through right now. But yeah, I've never been a Doc Rivers fan. And to add to your point about Drew Holiday, I absolutely believe he was the X factor. It's crazy how he went to the Bucks the first year and they got a ring, and then as soon as he went to Boston the first year, they got a ring. So
Mm.
I do want to add he definitely is. He was the X factor for both of those teams.
Let
But
me
Doc
ask you,
Rivers,
Tev,
oh,
real
go
quick,
ahead.
because you just mentioned that. Do you have any hate in your heart for the Bucks? Because the talk last year was Dame was supposed to get traded to the Miami Heat. He said you biased. I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you. I know the Heat's running against your team, so I just gotta ask. You got a little bias there because of that, just a little bit.
No bias toward the Bucks because they did what they had to do. They picked him up off the market. Now, who I do blame is Joe Cronin. He was bitter because Dame wanted. I believe he was bitter because Dame had one specific team he wanted to go to,
Hmm.
and I don't that made that whole process difficult. So I'm blaming Joe Cronin for that. But the Bucks did what they had to do. They picked up a great player. They just not gelling as well as people thought right now. So
Now, I got one question to ask everybody, and I think it's something I've been thinking about since he got to this team, and this is in reference to a team that's currently playing your Miami Heat, to the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham plays like a star to me. He has talent out of this world. He's extremely talented. Do you guys feel his talent is going to be wasted in Detroit, or can they somehow find a way? Because right now they're with 0-3. They're losing right now to the Heat. If I had to guess, they're going to probably lose this game too. Be 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start with you, Tay. Does Cade Cunningham need to get the hell out of Detroit?
Um, yes, Cade is one of my favorite players. I would say it, yes, yeah. I think so. Like they need Cade for sure. So it would be no reason to move him or anything. But for his purposes, I think he would be great. He'd be a great point guard for any team that needs it. I mean, point guard is like the cream of the crop right now, position wise. Like everybody has a point guard pretty much. So if you add Cade Cunningham to your roster and you don't have a point guard, yeah, I think so. I think like I'm in the middle with it. Like I think they should keep it going. Honestly, like it's hard to give a direct answer. I think they should keep it going. Honestly, I think Jaden Ivey he's gotten better this year, but at the same time, if you place Cade on a different team, it would look great. So I would say yeah to get Cade to the top of the top. Yeah, I think he would have to go to a different team.
Lee, what you think?
I give it one more year. They have to. One of their next draft picks have to hit. Yeah, one of their next first round picks have to hit. Like Cade is hit in Detroit, and like Jaden Ivey is hit in Detroit, and Durant. Like they need to. They need at least one more guy that can fit in that core with their new coach and Bickerstaff. I give it at least one more year, and if not, I would not mind Cade asking for a trade.
I'm guessing Tobias Harris is not moving you at all right now as
No,
a
no.
complimentary piece. Okay, all right. Well,
Mm-mm.
Tev, what you think, man? You think Cade need to eventually start looking elsewhere and then try to get out of there?
First off, the stray at Tobias is crazy. Not moving nobody. But realistically, yeah, I think he should. I would give it this year for him. After this year, if it's looking just about the same as it always been, yeah, I would look to get out of there. Because honestly, I'm looking at the starting lineup right now. Outside of Tobias Harris, IVK, Duran, Hardaway, all those names look good enough for a good starting lineup. But then once you get to the bench, it's like Malik Beasley, he's okay. Zay Stewart, okay. Everybody else is just like you know him, but you don't really know him for doing much. So I honestly believe he should wait just this year, and then if it's not looking how it's supposed to, yeah, get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I never want Detroit to have anything good anyway. So for me, I feel like Cade would be better off elsewhere. Where exactly I don't know, but I think it's just weird. The Pistons used to represent powerhouses in the Eastern Conference after and they built those teams. And from the bad boys to the mid 2000s Pistons, like they had. I mean, this is dynastic, abilities of these teams, and it's like they can't get over the hump. They can't get away from being the worst team in the league or the worst team in the conference. And it's like you keep getting these high draft picks, you keep getting talented players in the draft, and you just can't. It just hasn't hit yet. So maybe if this doesn't turn around this year, maybe next year it ends up being the year, or maybe a year or two. Kid got big money, so I don't think he's hurting if anything. I do want to ask briefly about another team because this team, I think we all thought this team when they got their starting point guard back, they would be able to be a powerhouse in the Western Conference. They've got him back, even though he's not playing tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies right now, they are on their way, if they can hold this lead against the Chicago Bulls, to being 3-1. What have you seen from this team so far this year that makes you think they could potentially be a contender this year or top team in the West? Tay, let me ask you, how you feeling about the Grizzlies?
Um, I feel good. I feel good. The Grizzlies have had great coaching for a couple years now, and just keep adding to the roster. Like the Grizzlies can go 12 deep. Like they can afford a couple injuries on the bench. Like I'm not wishing it on them, but they can they can go 12 deep. They got so much they hit on the draft every single year. Like I didn't think Scottie Pippen Jr. was worth anything. Like he gets minutes. Like I didn't like in LA he didn't see the court at all. And they got Jay Huff. Like they really ate off the Lakers, the end of the Lakers bench, and they're about to be playing big minutes. Like I don't know, it's just crazy. Their player development is crazy. Like Zach Edey, they drafted him. There was a lot of question like, can Zach Edey play NBA basketball? Yeah, he can. Um, the Grizzlies are scary, man. Like the Grizzlies have always been good ever since they drafted Ja Morant. They've always been good. They've always been good, and they got Jaren Jackson, former DPOY. Like they got everything you want in a basketball team. Like they got shooters, they got defenders, they got everything. They got a bench. So yeah, the Grizzlies are definitely scary. The Grizzlies can be top three in the West. They've done it before. I don't see why they can't do it again.
Lee, what you think, man? These Grizzlies.
I feel good about Memphis too. No, Desmond Bain always underrated. He got 27 right now. Um, with job back, it completes everything. And Tay mentioned Jay Huff. They just signed him to a 4-year contract, so he's going to be there for a while. Um, Drafting Edie, they needed a big down low. They to take the pressure off of Jaren Jackson Jr. defensively, and um, they still have Brandon Clark off the bench. I just I just can't wait to see what they look like when they get Gigi Jackson back too, because he hasn't played yet. And Scottie Pippen Jr. He had 11 and 12 assists off the bench in a game this year. Uh, Memphis Memphis could be back to what they once was.
What you think, Tev?
I agree with everybody else. I think Memphis has done a great job at developing players. And when Ja went down last year, I mean, everybody kind of knew like the team would kind of drop off a little bit. But as soon as he came back, like as soon as you know he was coming back, you knew like the team that they had already built, plus him, they would make some noise. I think, and it shouldn't be, but I think they are a sleeper team right now, just because maybe some people aren't expecting them to do much right now. But yeah, I got them. I got them at least top. I got them top six. I don't see them. They might not. They might miss the play-in. Honestly, like they could get that sixth spot. And one person off that team that I think is like a unsung hero right now, underdog on the team right now, is the 7 foot sniper Sandy Aldama.
Mm.
Facts. Big
Hmm.
facts.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
I like what I've seen from him. He spreads the floor. He can initiate the offense. Well, not initiate though, but he can play make. He can pass a little bit. He rebounds okay. He averages around 5, 6 boards a game. But they can have him out there to shoot the ball, make the right plays, and that's what he's doing. So yeah, I think Memphis can. They can honestly slip past the play in and get that sixth spot.
And we briefly talked about the Knicks earlier. It's only right. There was a big trade that happened, maybe I say a month or two ago, Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks for Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. So you've seen a couple games of the Timberwolves. A lot of people were saying, oh, Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert can't play together. Julius Randle can't shoot, can't space the floor. The fit's not going to be right. We saw 3 games so far. Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards scored 30 points each. Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards have never done that before. So that just shows the potential of the offense right there. So
There's some niggas did that shit against the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the first game. It's like the Knicks. They got this first game up too. But I'm gonna start with Lee. How do you feel about the Timberwolves and the Julius Randle fit?
Oh, he'll fit nicely because even the star players said we fitting around you. It's not going to be about fitting around Ant. It's going to be about what can help Julius Randle succeed on the court. And when you have your star player talking like that and reflected on the court, it'll do wonders for future games and going forward into the season.
All right, and Tev, how do you feel about the Julius Randle fit in the Minnesota Timberwolves going forward?
When it first happened, I had my doubts, just because Julius Randle, just his health. Honestly, that's where my doubts came from. But when I really sat down and thought about it, he adds almost like a much different layer than what Cat did. Like, obviously, they can both shoot. Cat is a much better shooter from the 3, but Julius is one of those players that's not afraid to get down low, bang with the big man, and sometimes that's what you need from somebody in that position, the 4 or 5. That's what you need from them. Cat wasn't really necessarily the type of player that wanted to do that. See, I was being nice about it. He didn't want to do that, but Julius he's a 3-level scorer willingly, and that adds a whole different layer than what Cat did to the team. I'm not saying they're going to be better with Julius. It's possible, but I'm just saying he adds a much different layer to the team.
I'm going to tell you, I think the X factor in all this is my man White Dante DiVincenzo. I think he is going to be an important piece because what Minnesota lacked to me last year was sufficient shooting, especially off their bench. It didn't feel like they had enough guys they could go to. And you kind of saw that against Dallas. Honestly, you also saw it against Denver. It went 7 games for a reason. And, so I think having somebody off the bench like a DiVincenzo, who last year was like the second best or third best 3-point shooter in the league, you need that. And as far as Randle, I've made no qualms about the fact that I am not a Julius Randle fan, and mostly because of the fact last season that brother lost a lot of people I know good money when he was so you lose my brothers, some of my brothers that get good money, you a public enemy number 1 with me. But I think Julius Randle is going to fit well because anything is tougher than Cat. And I know he's on the Knicks and everything, and he do his little snarl and he gonna do that, and he gonna point his fingers to his head and shit, like he gonna do that. But Julius Randle does go out there and do the things you need. I think he sometimes might sometimes he does try to take over games and might shoot you out the game a couple times depending. But I feel like with him playing next to Ant and playing next to some of those guys, I think he'll be able to kind of excel. I don't know what the record looks like for Minnesota this year. I don't know if they will be better in terms of that. I think they're a little more versatile in how they are now as a team, a little bit. And I think defensively, there are things that I'm still not convinced on the Gobert and Randle fit. We 3 games in, so we're gonna revisit this at like game 20. because I'm not 100% sure, especially since I think Cat was a better shooting big man, and at least you could get a little more space. And Randall can shoot somewhat too, but once again, I'm not giving that nigga too much credit. I think, like I said, I think I was high on like I said on the preview, I'm high on the Timberwolves this year because I think Ant has stepped into a role now where he understands he needs to be that aggressive leader, and he can't have some of those mistakes that he made in the playoffs last year. He can't have some of those mistakes he's made in general the last couple of years. So I think the team goes as far as Ant will take it, but having Randall as a complimentary piece, seeing Jay McDaniels and any improvements he can make to his game because he is a really good defender. Any team with Rudy Gobert, I'm gonna hate mostly, but I'm gonna act like the Frenchman don't exist. I'm gonna act like he does. I don't like Rudy Gobert, man. You talk about soft.
You've ever seen.
Look. You talk about soft. Cat soft. Gobert, man. That nigga was crying. That nigga was responsible for COVID.
Him in your life. That
nigga was. He was responsible for the COVID spread. He got the league shut down. I don't blame him for everything. That was some tough months. We had some tough months, man. We went like 7 months without basketball. I was like, it's Rudy Gobert's fault. I'm blaming him for everything. But I do think he fits great in his role. He fits great in his role. I just want to say that he fits great in his role in Minnesota. It's just I'm not gonna give him credit.
That's why he always say I'm misunderstood.
Yeah. And even that sounds like something like a punk rock emo girl would say, like back in like 2009. Like this hoops. There's hoops. Like we don't talk like that at hoops. Like come on, bro. Like go out there and do your business, bro. Like you talking about he misunderstood. He got choked by Draymond. Draymond would choke that nigga for like good 10 minutes on the court. Like after that,
he had him in a sleeper hole, bro.
And he didn't get no get back. He didn't even get no get back. Like he didn't try to get he ain't try to like elbow him the next game or nothing. He's just like he's a bully. He's a bully. Like come on, man. We ain't rocking with that. But before we get out of here, I gotta ask. This week is to me it's a slightly lighter slate in terms of like big marquee matchups. Is there any games that you guys are looking at that caught your attention, caught your eye? I know we got a Knicks and Heat game that'll be interesting. You know what I'm saying? Tay is a Knicks guy, Tev is a Heat guy, so I think that'll be
those bums.
Well,
hey, y'all better figure out how to mesh as a team first, bro.
Wait. As we speak now, the Knicks looking like they headed for a loss right now, and the Heat looking like they headed for a win. Granted, the level of competition they're playing could be taken in consideration, but we do have a couple games that stand out, like the Mavs and Timberwolves. That could be an exciting game. Like I just mentioned, the Knicks versus the Heat. Prior to the Steph Curry injury, I thought the Pelicans and Warriors having their those back-to-back games that they have against each other, I thought that was something to be, something to talk about, but not sure how I feel about that game. Another Suns and Clippers game. Damn, didn't they? I felt like the Suns and Clippers just played each other like just the other day. Yeah, so there's a couple of games to stick out. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves, obviously, you get a rematch of the second round last year. But any games on y'all slate personally, that's a game I gotta watch. That's a game I want to see. Tay, you got any game this week that sticks out?
Well, the Sunday slate has about 3 games. I don't know why I want to watch this game, but I want to watch Orlando Magic and the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you, but that just seems like an interesting matchup that we don't get to see often. East versus West. They only play twice a year. So so something different that we normally don't see. It's always the and correct me if I'm wrong. It's the Wizards and Pacers play every week the whole season for some reason. So it's cool to watch East versus West sometimes because I always see Pacers Wizards every day. So I'm liking the Magic and the Mavs.
Okay, Lee, what you got, man? You got any game this week that you looking at that you really want to watch?
Yeah, but before I do that, Tay mentioned Orlando. Not only did
Yeah,
Orlando win tonight, Paulo had 50, 13, and 9.
50. Yeah,
50,
50.
50.
He started with 37. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, this
Hmm.
that's if that's the only disappointing thing of his night, I'll take it. But yeah, Wednesday, there's a couple games. Lakers versus Cavs in Cleveland. You know, Cleveland, they welcome the King back with open arms all the time.
The who? You said the Kang? You said the Kang? Okay. Okay. All right. That's what we're doing. Okay. All right. I just had to check. I was like, I heard the Kang. I was like,
Hey,
okay.
hey, that's my favorite player of all time. that that's why. But
He a legend. I get it. He a legend. I'm just saying. I just had to, double check. Year
but
22. You know.
yeah, yep. Um, and the other game, I always enjoy these two. Watching these two play, Spurs Thunder, because you know, there's not that many player rivalries in this league,
Mm.
but there's
True.
Wemby and Chet. Wemby and Chet take things personal when they meet up, and Wemby has a so start to the season, but Chet is having a fantastic start, averaging 4 blocks a game, and start having a DPOY start to the season. And I'm really looking forward to watching Chet and Wemby go at it again.
Yeah, no, they definitely go with each other. They definitely go with each other, man. Tev, what you got, brother? You got any games this week? You ready to see your Heat wash these Knicks?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's gonna be a blowout. But
Like I seen Taylor look up. Taylor look up real quick. Taylor looked up real quick. he looked up real quick. He's like, "What?"
nah. But serious note though, Wednesday it might sound crazy, but Celtics versus Pacers. Even though the Celtics might end up blowing them out the water, that 4 game sweep was probably one of the most entertaining sweeps I've ever seen in my life. Because every
Mm-hmm.
game came down to the wire. Pacers like really never gave up. So I'm looking forward to seeing that game just because I got a feeling they might get hot. They still gonna lose, but I feel like it could be an entertaining game.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny. I was overlooking that on the slate just because I see Pacers. I see the Celtics and I tend to ignore them in general. So I try, I try to. But like I said, there are a lot of interesting games this week. Do we know if Embiid or PG they gonna play anytime soon or what's happening there? Because if they are, Saturday the Grizzlies and 76ers are playing, and that's a game for me that I would think if everybody's playing, everybody's healthy, that's the game that I will look forward to. Outside of what everybody else said, and outside of the Heat and Knicks, because I can't wait. Whatever happens, we're gonna come back on the show, and whoever wins get their bragging rights, get to talk their shit. So, the Grizzlies and 76ers is the game that looking at the slate, that's the one that will stick out to me right now. So, but another thing that sticks out is all this content that we have been giving y'all. We just announced today we got 2 new writers on the team. Obviously, my guy Tev just dropped the Golden State Warrior article. Can the Warriors survive without Steph Curry? As far as we know right now, Steph Curry is out until Friday, which more than likely is going to be a lot longer or a little bit longer than that. Tev presents some very compelling points on what they need. We talked about it a little earlier, Jonathan Kuminga and him and his hair and everything he got going on right now. He needs to step it up. So make sure you go over to the Medium site. There'll be articles up every single day, as it always is. And of course, we got music on the way. 2 new members, 2 new writers. You'll probably see the first article from Savannah. She is based out of Northern Virginia, but will be holding down the Cincinnati side of things for sports in terms of the Bengals. Not that there's very much to cover for the Bengals right now if you are a football fan, but she will hold that fort down. Shout out to our other new writer. He's going to be doing MMA boxing, which I know he's in the cut right now. He's quiet, but Eric, you can see him, the MMA boxing side of things. I know he'll be excited about that. So lots and lots of content coming. Great music on the way. We'll get to more into that. NFL this week, obviously college football, weekend wrestling coming this week too. So we got a heavy slate for y'all. But as always, as my co-host would say, this is happening because the world of DAR never stops. Now you can stop recording this shit.